Well, look, I don't think the Biden administration is prepared for a whole bunch of scenarios around the world, including what's going on in Ukraine. We've got 100,000 Russian troops on the border. They're not prepared for what's happening in Yemen. They're not prepared for what's happening in Syria with the Russians taking over and trying to manipulate the whole region right now. But just add China and Taiwan to this. Look, I've spent 11 years, as you know, at the State Department. I'm a diplomat, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to solve these problems through what Amber says, deterrence. One thing that I'm very appreciative of the Pentagon is that they talk about the difference between a threat of military action and a credible threat of military action. The United States of America needs to have a credible threat of military action. That helps diplomats. When we're at the table and we're talking across the table, trying to solve some of these problems without war, it's really important to have behind us a credible threat of military action. That's going to move people at the table when you're trying to negotiate. Lastly, I'll just say this. We really need a reform of the State Department so that we have diplomats at the table who use diplomacy with muscle, not just trying to cut the baby in half, but actually trying to be the tip of the spear to solve these problems. You got to have really tough diplomats if you want to avoid war.
Right, and again, and this is just one of the many areas where we see this stark contrast between what we've witnessed for the last 4 years and then what we've seen in the last 10 months under this administration. And you talked about that, Rick, and this is where the phrase "speak softly and carry a big stick" comes from with Theodore Roosevelt. You got to have that threat to behind your words here. And we're not seeing that, Amber, because the Biden administration seems to be laying down to China in so many areas. They are buying surveillance drones now from a Chinese company, which has been deemed a potential threat. This is a report from Axios here. The Secret Service bought 8 drones back in July. And here's what former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe said about this deal.
It is consistent with the Biden administration taking a softer approach, trying to promote a false narrative that somehow China is a competitor, not an adversary. And you would think that the lessons learned from COVID would teach everyone that China's not to be trusted.
COVID, Huawei, we could go on and on. Amber, why is the administration doing this?
Yeah, our reliance on China has absolutely gotten out of control. Anything that has to do with our national security should be off limits when it comes to China. Unfortunately, with our supply chain, that's almost impossible right now. But it just goes to show you how in depth our reliance is on China with so many things. It's absolutely out of control, and we need to realize this, that we are hurting our own national security by having that reliance on China.
Yep.
And so, yeah, exactly. So the Biden administration continues to just move forward, kick the can down the road, instead of dealing with this problem head on.
Yeah, I mean, we see this, the supply chain is one issue, our reliance on China. We're going to see these prices go up anyway because of inflation. All that's tied together. And Rick, that's kind of the point. We are going to have to suffer some short-term pain to experience that long-term gain. I talked to Gordon Chang about this in the last hour. There are American drones that could do this job. They might cost a little bit more, but that's the sacrifice we're going to have to make if we are going to uncouple ourselves from the Chinese Communist Party.
Washington politicians do not understand that Russia is a problem, but China is a crisis. I've been calling for a long time to have a separation between any U.S. company that decides to work in the U.S. intelligence or U.S. defense industries, barring them from working in China. You shouldn't be able to do both. And what we've seen through microchips, through drones, as you mentioned, we have a whole bunch of U.S. companies that are intermingling between sensitive Chinese contracts and sensitive American contracts. You cannot separate it. If you work in China, they require you to have a junior Chinese company partner, and that company is beholden to the Chinese Communist Party. And that was if you're reading your classified intelligence, you know this.
That word reciprocity, we heard it so many times in those early conversations with President Trump and President Xi. It never got there, but that is where we need to be. Those same type of rules should work both ways, or they shouldn't exist. All right, we've got a couple minutes left. I want to get you guys to talk about Afghanistan real quickly with us. The Afghan interpreter we talked about this before, who helped rescue then Senator Joe Biden in 2008, has finally escaped with his family, thank God. The main drivers of this mission to save Mr. Khalili and his wife and 5 kids were U.S. military veterans from Arizona. A State Department official telling CNN, quote, "We engaged at senior levels to help facilitate all of this. We're gratified that he'll be on his way to safety." But Amber, I know you've been working on this as well. I mean, this is just another black eye for this administration when it comes to the Afghan withdrawal. This was the guy that saved Joe Biden and other senators, too.
Yeah, it's just another example of how many people who sacrificed so much in Afghanistan. I work with an organization called Help for Afghanistan. A lot of these interpreters and SIV holders and SIV applicants, a lot of Americans, military members, came home because of the sacrifice and service of some of the Afghan interpreters and worked with the U.S. government in other capacities. And so, getting this guy home, great, was heavily relied on by U.S. veterans. The Biden administration completely dropped the ball on this. And then there was all of these groups that have stood up to try to fill the gap where the administration has failed. They're receiving, diplomatic or bureaucratic roadblocks from the State Department to try to get these people out. And anybody that's in the SIV category has really, people are just in the hurry up and wait mode, because right now they're asking questions about, I've done all my paperwork. I've heard I need an interview. What next? And they're not getting any answers right now from the administration. And they're relying heavily on these veterans groups. And it costs a lot of money to help get these people out.
And the administration doesn't want to talk about it, Rick. They don't want to remind people that they left folks behind, Americans and our allies.
Look, we have to be very clear. The Biden administration changed U.S. policy, decades of U.S. policy. They bragged about it, and they said we brought 90% of the people home. Let's be very clear. That is a black eye on America. To brag about the fact that you brought 90% of the people home means you left 10% behind. That is a change in U.S. policy. It's atrocious, and Joe Biden is going to have to live with that for the rest of his life.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.